Good afternoon. Hi. So it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote of the weekend, which is Kaylee, K.O., Reis, member of the Seaconke Wampanoag Tribe. And my actual husband. So, Kaylee is the first Indigenous woman fighter to become a world boxing champion. Okay. She has attained 6 world titles in 2 weight classes. Her win of the WBC middleweight world title made history as the first world title fought in New Zealand. Kaylee also made history when she participated in HBO's first ever women's televised bout in 2018. In 2021, Kaylee made her acting debut in the film Catch the Fair One, which highlights one of her causes, the MMIW epidemic, and it earned a special jury mention award at the Tribeca Film Festival. She also won the Best Actress Award at the Newport Beach Film Festival in 2021. In 2024, she stars opposite Jodie Foster in True Detective Night Country, in which she portrays Evangeline Navarro, a half-Dominican, half-Inuit detective turned Alaska State Trooper, ex-Marine. Now for this, Kaylee was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. As of recent, she was also nominated for the Critics' Choice and Golden Globes for Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series. Next, we can look forward to Wind River, which is the second installment of this series, and an indie film, Rebuilding, that will be premiering in 2025 at Sundance. Now, being of mixed race, she is extremely proud of her native and Cape Verdean roots. She uses her boxing and acting platform to spread awareness on various issues, such as MMIW. She teamed up with Reis Hearts organization to run the New York City Marathon in November 2024. Living up to her given name, Pequot, which means many feathers or many talents, she is a certified motorcycle small engines technician, has worked as a residential counselor since 2009, and I've seen her dance traditional, fancy shawl, and jingle. She aspires to continue finding ways to give a voice to voiceless, whether it be fighting inside or outside the ring, or even in front of the camera, telling our stories. She won't stop until the bell rings. Kaylee. Thank you for being here. We're so appreciative. We're so appreciative of you coming to speak with our community, to empower our youth, to engage back at home. Because you've been out on the way. So we're just so glad to have you. And so I wanted to get into you have been advocating on behalf of MMIW from the start. And so I really want to know why this cause is so close to your heart.
Firstly, it's what you can top touch and shut up, everybody. Shut up. I mean, it's all what's up. That's what we're going on with my Seaconke Wampanoag, with my Cape Verdean, Providence, Rhode Island, Rhode Island. Living currently in Philadelphia, but I'm all over the world. So I just gotta say thank you so much for having me here back home, because this is home. You know, my sister tribe, Pequot, Narragansett Shinnecots over here. So I really appreciate coming here to speak. It baffles me how many people recognize me now, and it's just the things I like to do is just be with community. So first and foremost, thank you so much. So thank you everybody for rubbing and chilling on a Sunday. You guys have something else better to do, but community is very key to us. So this is really making my heart happy right now. And Jen, that was a good. I just got to give you flowers. Well, MMIW, mixing the word Indigenous women, girls, experience, just people, our relatives. It's not a term that I very proudly say because I have to say it because it's an epidemic that still happens. So it's nothing that we really grew up with. They kind of put a hashtag or a name on something that we know that happens in our community all too well. We are tired people, not just our women, but especially our women. It was something I learned about that had kind of put a name on it back in Seattle in Canada. They started the MMIW movement. And just being somebody who I am and knowing that I had a platform and being taught, if you have a voice, you speak for those who can't speak, you dance for those who can't dance, you fight for those who can't fight. And it's just something that's been instilled in me. It's never been about me, it's been about we and what can I do to serve my community. Whatever medicine that I got blessed with, it just happens. I got these hands. It's an arts community. I come from a very artistic family, creative. My mother is a singer, my brother does music. There's something creative in our family. My grandmother taught me how to paint when I was really young, always doing crafts. So it was something always creative, but this is my art, this is my medicine. So with the platform I built with boxing, I just knew it was something. I had all eyes on me. Okay, what can I say that's important right now? I don't want to talk about myself. Like, what can I represent? And also just being a mixed heritage from the Northeast, and we can get into that conversation of who I am and whole and being on this global platform. It just baffled me how many people didn't know about missing the word Indigenous people when I talked to them. And like, this really happened. And first of all, they think we're extinct as Native and Indigenous people. That's just one of the first and foremost. Secondly, they don't believe something like this happens. And I'm like, no, this happens right next door. Like, this is a real epidemic. So I personally haven't had a little sister or a close member of my close family go missing, but there's been things that have happened and that could have probably happened more drastically. However, throughout my travels, going to different communities, telling my story, but also not just talking, but listening and bringing and holding space for these families and these victims. I've had countless conversations with families who are literally 5 to 10 minutes away from getting a phone call from the missing daughter, showing up to the place, and then they're not there anymore. These heart-wrenching stories. So I just thought it was my due diligence to just get this voice out. So I started speaking about it as much as I could at weigh-ins, having my different outfits that I wear with MIW, because when people don't know something, we just we Google or we have that conversation, we post about it. So I'm like, all right, this is the world we live in. Let me let me walk in these rooms. Not this room where we all pretty much know about it. Let me walk in rooms who have no idea about it and then have them ask the questions. People looking at me like I'm crazy. I got face tattoos everywhere, but I got the MIW outfit on. And it brings attention, but I'm like, all right, let's talk about it. Grab your phone, Google it. You want to know about some statistics? And I'm just kind of go on that, just bringing the conversation to it, making it a big deal, because it's a big deal and it's real, which is really my goal. It wasn't, I know people that have these grassroots organizations, boots on the ground, that go looking for families, go looking for victims with families. I really don't use the term activist, more like an advocate or more like a mouthpiece, because I know those people that have those organizations and they had to start these organizations because their loved ones are missing. So it's really near and dear to my heart, and just it's I'm a warrior by lineage, so it's just in my blood to fight. I'm not gonna stop talking about it until we don't have to talk about it.
Yes, and talking about the statistics, one of our elders, shout out Janice Golden for the Bliss. Yeah, okay, she just shared some staggering numbers with me. 90% of Native American women who are victims of trafficking are victimized by non-Native people. So, it's people coming into our communities and doing the damage. So that was. Whenever you look at the numbers, it just reminds you of if you can't see it, it's very real. It's really happening, and we all know people who are affected. So switching over to boxing real quick. What skills were you able to cross over from being an athlete to now being an actor?
That's deep, pull the dive in. But to go to kind of veer off a little bit more into MIW as well, those statistics, they stop you in your tracks when you really think about it. And then if you kind of unravel that entire subject, it's, there's a lot of our women are victims, most of our women are victims of domestic violence. And then you have the drug abuse, and you have the alcohol abuse, and you just have this cycle that keeps going and it kind of gets passed on from generation to generation. Another reason why I try to do it is to bring really light to that so we can stop it. We're generational curses and really start healing our community. Because these statistics need to start going down as well. So that's just something that, again, just when you said boxing, I'm like, I gotta just mention that as well, because it also there's a lot of things connected. It's not just our people are going missing for no reason. It also goes into our mental health. There's a lot of Native people I can speak from experience. We face this. You're not worth anything. We get told, we get this energy that you don't matter. Not to be cheesy and quote the first movie I was in, but no one's looking because no one cares. I made sure that line was in there because it's a sad reality that we face in the community, and we have to start caring about each other if we want everybody else to care as well. So, with my boxing,
that's one thing that I wanted to mention that I didn't know that I learned that you have a writing credit in Catch a Fair One.
do I have private?
Amazing.
Because when I was kind of crossing over from boxing to acting, when I got asked, and I'll tell you a little story how this whole acting thing even started before I answered the question. Somebody slid into my DMs. That's how I even started acting. The director writer for Catch the Fair One, he inboxed me on Instagram, and at that point I had made a pretty good name for myself. I had a couple titles, and I was really riding hard and trying to just advocate for our causes and trying to do whatever I could for our communities, and also fight. Was one of my jobs. But he inboxed me and said, "I'm so and so. Would you ever think about acting in this movie?" Now you can imagine creepy DMs people be getting about some movie that somebody wants to be in. But he checked out, and he just wanted to really get to know me. But this was the key, and this was just created, tailor-made. He's a half Japanese, half Polish man that was very self-aware and knew it was an important story to tell, but it wasn't his story to tell. And that's a prime example of how things can get made and things can get done properly when you go about it the right way. As an Indigenous community, we have protocol. We have different protocols, but we have baseline protocols. We know the protocols for different things. So when he reached out to me, I'm like, yeah, I thought about it, but I wasn't like, I'm not going to Hollywood, man. This is going to be great. It wasn't on my to-do list. But a little bit of context, when this director contacted me, this is the Primetime Emmy, we had just lost one of my older brothers for brain cancer. And I was out of work, on bereavement leave. I wasn't really not knowing how to process it. Boxing has always been my way to process things, and boxing was our thing. He was a huge boxing fan, was at all of my fights. We used to watch the fights together. I even trained him when he was in remission to get his motor skills back. So this was our thing. This is the one time I didn't have boxing. So I just was like trying to find something to heal. And for whatever reason, acting was on my brain. Like, what do I do? Like, have a cameo in a Gatorade commercial? I have no idea how to start these things. But I was like, you know what? If it's meant for me, it'll find me in some way, fashion, whatever. A week to that day, that's when I got the inbox about this. And that's kind of started this whole entire journey. He came up here, spoke to myself, spoke to my mother, a couple of elders. We had to get the story of our people and also get the perspective of what it's like to be an Indigenous person in this community to face this MIW epidemic. Like I said to you, I wasn't sharing my personal story. I was just kind of giving information as far as, well, this is what I learned when I sat with this family. This is what I learned when I went to this conference. This is what I learned with this email that I got and this countless things. And he did his due diligence. And very early on, I told him we have to keep this the truth. Like, this is not a Hollywood happy story. This is not going to be a vigilante John Wick story. It's not going to kill everybody and everybody's going to be happily ever after. But that's not the reality. You know, there's a very small fraction of our victims that are found who are reunited with families. And most of the time, they're found, they're not alive. And this is what I really try to keep key. It wasn't, let's make a movie and make $1 million. It was the same goal I had with my boxing, just bring the awareness, have this conversation in these different rooms. So I did help write it. I didn't physically write it, but I helped cast it, help write it, help pitch it, help fund it. I was kind of part of the whole process, and I had no idea what I was doing. This stays between me and you guys. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew it was going to get figured out. I figured I had this opportunity for a reason, so why not? I didn't have any previous acting training. You know, we would do things in the house as kids. You know, I had this one character that I would do. My mom left. She's actually here. Her name was Mary. She was from Rhode Island. She drank Humvees, and I just did all these characters. So I had this movie country in my head. But I did shoot this movie, and from there, what I brought from my boxing into my acting was, you know, in boxing, you have your corner. You have people that see what you don't see. There's a lot of trust that goes in. You have to trust these people with your life. So I'm like, all right, the director sees what I don't see. Clearly, there's a goal here. Boxing is the one to fight. You're allowed to win the title. And acting, there's a scene. You have to get the scene. All right, so I trust that. The repetition of boxing, the preparation of boxing. I have to go to the gym. If y'all know me, y'all know, okay, can never go anywhere to stay at the gym. The gym is. So the preparation and the repetition of learning, keep doing it, getting in your body, but also knowing that you have to be prepared for anything. I can practice my lines over and over and over, but if I get some actor that just wants to wing it and wants to just throw the whole thing, you know, if I gotta be on my toes, the ability to take criticism. I know all of us in here are human. We hate hearing that we did something wrong and we don't like to take criticism, but if you've ever been around me in the gym, you know my coaches are savages. Like, they will tell me the truth, which I appreciate. I rather do the hard truth and tell me directly than tell me try to. I don't need to fluff around any sugarcoat. I don't like sugar. Just tell me how it is so I can get the job. So I brought a lot of that into my acting. But the really key thing, and this is kind of a life thing, is that when the bell rings, I have to be a certain type of fight. I have to have this complete 100%, no hesitation focus. I can't be like, no, I kind of want to fight. If they hit me, I'll hit them back. I gotta be like laser focused on what to do, so I can make those decisions, those rational decisions, not out of anger, not on I want to be fancy. I just want to win the fight. Here with acting, you know, when that camera's on, I have to immerse myself in this character, the story, because we're telling that. So when the camera's on, I gotta be 100% I can dive completely in. If my camera's off, I can go be Goofy Cave again. You know, and when the bell rings and I'm not fighting, I am the most non-confrontational one. Keep the peace, kumbaya person. I like to laugh, I like to chill, I don't like conversation. I can handle myself, but I don't like it. I just rather we all just sit and talk. I'm a Virgo. Let's just keep the peace, you know. So there was a lot of things I got blessed with in the discipline of just sticking to the goal. Like, no matter what is stated, of course, it's kind of something I brought to acting, and it's taught me that.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What have been your biggest challenges, both in boxing and in acting?
Well, the obvious is that people take one look at me and have no idea where I'm from, what my ethnicity is. And from boxing, number one, being a woman in a men's sport, to be something hard, that was the first challenge. You know, we have to work 3 times as hard to get not even half the respect, the pay, the recognition. It's getting better, but that was one thing. Being a woman of color, being a mixed woman of color from the Northeast that nobody knows, that I don't need it, and all that other stuff, you know. That has been the biggest challenge, but if it's not hard, it's not worth it. That's just my mentality. Because I like to earn things. I like to, if it's not hard, it ain't worth it. If it's not hard, it ain't worth it. I like to earn things. You know, I like to feel like I've earned it. I don't like nobody's giving me anything. I don't have an uncle in Hollywood or this and that. If y'all know me, you know, I've never gotten. Nobody ever made anything. I got to work for everything. So just you appreciate it when you work for something. If somebody gives you something, yeah, it's great. I'll give you $1,000, right now, I'm sure I'll take it. But if you work for that, you'll appreciate it. So that's just always been my mentality. And acting, it's the biggest challenge I would say right now is I'm learning on the job. True Detective was only my third acting job, and I'm just learning everything as it goes, and kind of just what really saves me in both aspects is that I'll take a situation, say boxing, for instance. You have a coach say you're supposed to throw the jab this way, you're supposed to do it this way, and I'll give the information, like the goal, but how I do it may not be how one of you guys would do it if you got the same instructions. And that's something that just across the board has always been my strong suit, is that I'm going to figure it out. May not be how you taught me, but I know the end goal. Let's get to the end goal. Don't criticize me for that jab, or like bring my hand up to my face. But that's also how I translate that into acting as well, is that I know there's a purpose of what the scene is. I've done serious, mostly serious and really dramatic, really dark stuff. Maybe I should talk to my agent. But I've also done some fun things and comedy things as well. So it's not all serious, it's not all fun. It's a lot of work. So that's been the challenge so far, being so away from home. Both. I've had to FOMO, fear of missing out. People are chilling at the club. Hey guys, running past the club, doing my miles, But I knew I had a goal that I really wanted to accomplish and be the best I could. And maybe not the best in the world, be the best I could and win this fight, get the job done. So, and with acting as well, I have to travel everywhere. I fought all over the world, but I haven't done that with Silver Spoon. I've gone to. There's one fight I had to go to Spain. I went by myself with a kid from the gym. I knew how to wrap hands. He was like an 18-year-old kid, but I needed to go fight. You know what I mean? So being away from my family, making sacrifices. There's no holidays. There's no season of boxing. There's no it's your birthday, you can have the day off. There's no it's Thanksgiving, you can go eat. I've had many fights in November, and I couldn't stand any one of y'all sitting at the damn table eating the table while I'm out running. But at the end of the day, the goal is you have to go through some kind of turmoil. You got to work for it. You want something, you have got to work for it, and that was always my goal. So with acting in boxing, your schedule changes at the drop of a hat. And we've experienced this. I can be chilling minding my business with a beer in my hand. I get a phone call from my coach, you're going to fight in 5 weeks, or you got a fight offer. Everything has to change up really fast. Acting the same thing. I actually leave on Tuesday, and I'll be going overseas until September. I just found that out last week. So my schedule changes like that. So being away from home, I always make sure I have a piece of home with me, whether it's a piece of something from mom, who's got my medicines with me. But it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge the last couple of years, but it's quite a challenge. I'm always on the plane. Like always on the plane. I can't stand planes. I'm thankful for them.
Yeah, I get it. Definitely, we watch you all over the country and all over the world. And every time I see you somewhere else, I feel like, a part of me is there in that room. Like, we're represented, and it feels so good to see that. And so, as we're situated here home in the Northeast, I want to know what are your hopes for Indian country here in the Northeast, and as well as the country.
Yeah. We have got to stop fighting each other. It's like, please. This one's not more later than this one. This one doesn't know more than that one. We have got to come together. We have very rich history here in the Northeast. We all look alike. First of all, there's nobody that looks like us. We are from the Northeast. We have rich history. I don't care how much you are of this. We all know our lineage. I guarantee if y'all do a blood test, we'll come up all over the place because we're from the Northeast. We are from first contact tribes. We don't have American history. We have our history. This wasn't America when they came here, right? So when we have got to come together, again, it's protocol. If there's a problem with X tribe, this tribe, that tribe, we come together. We need to to build another longhouse and have these meetings. That's what we need to do. Like, I don't know everything. I'm still learning. And also, it's another thing. We are all still learning. We're all still relearning. We're all still connecting, reconnecting. No matter how you grew up, where you grew up, what race you grew up on, what race you did not grow up on. We are constantly relearning and reconnecting because we are living in 2025, not 1700. We have no idea what it was like back then. We don't have any idea. All they had was prayer, this hope that this generation would survive, and we did. So we've got to stop fighting each other. We're not going to all get along. But if we want to collectively make it better for us as Indigenous people, especially in the Northeast, especially with the economy and everything we got going on right now, we've got to stop fighting each other. Like, we have a very, very unique area here. We call ourselves sister tribes, especially my generation. And we joke, sharing kinds of Pequots. Like, we have this, so we have to come together. One idea is not going to be the only idea. My idea is not going to be the only right idea. We have to come together, put it all on the table. Put it all on the table. Put your beefs on the table. Put your questions, your prayers, whatever you have got to come together. This whole state recognized, non-recognized, federal recognized, I'm federal recognized, and you're not, so I'm worth more. You've got to stop. Thank you. I'm growing up in it, and I'm also preaching from, I'm from here, but I'm all over the place. So I can question. I've done question who I am and who my people are, no matter where I go. From here, my community claims me. Seaconke Wampanoag community claims me. Yes. Pequot claims me because I'm in sister tribe and they're relative. We are all relatives here. But when I go out in the world, it's a cool world. And I've gotten, I'm sure y'all seen, I get questioned, I get this, I get all kinds of things. I represent y'all when I'm out there. And for me to do that, we've got to come together. We have to come together, whether it's ceremony, language, food, helping people, anything, whatever it is, man. This whole, that little tribal culture I have in the wallet, with all due respect, that don't mean nothing if you don't do and you don't walk the walk and you really help your community. It has to be about food. So I have to only go with this.
And then what about for Indian country as a whole, since you've been all over and engaging in different communities and the Native Americans in media and entertainment, I mean, no matter everybody, work done. You know, what are your thoughts on the future of Indian country in general?
I mean, Indian country is thriving, you know, especially the last, I just happen to be coming up into this acting thing, when, especially film, the last 2 years, film to TV has been like, blowing up, and it's not that we just as Native people just started telling stories. I mean, how long when we always got stories from everything. I guarantee every Native person here got a piece of jewelry or something, and they can tell me a 10-minute story about the jewelry. I know y'all can. We have a story. That's how we pass down information. So as far as film goes, the storytelling, we've been here. It just happens to be the last 2 years it's been booming. So. And it's been, I've seen in fashion too. The fashion industry with Native people is so dope, man. We have some creative, really dope people. And I just have seen it creatively in the modern era. You know, I see a lot of traditional culture being brought into today's fashion industry, or whether it's storytelling. Like, I know y'all see Reservation. I hope y'all see it. That show was such a prime example of what it's like to be Indigenous where they're from. We can collectively see as Native people, we know something. But it was such a prime example of not telling a story that was in the past, in the current, right now, and how we are and how we live and how they live. So that's a prime example of how you mix who we are now. We have to be now, but who we are connected to, who our soul is, who our ancestry lineage is. I just think we just gotta keep staying authentic. We have to do the 9 to 5 and be who we are in this world, but stick to your truth. If you have a passion and goal, stick to your truth. But also remember, we're all not going to be here in 100 years. What kind of legacy do we want to leave? So I see a lot of Natives and Indigenous craft workers, creators, even like politicians. We got a lot of politicians. I mean, we all politicians Native. We all think we're politicians, but I see a lot of people stepping up into their calling. A lot of us are entering our call. So I just like to see that continue. Just be authentically yourself. You don't have to. There's nothing you gotta prove to any country, especially in the Northeast. There's nothing we gotta prove to anybody. We know who we are. I'm telling you, when you step outside these little 6 states over here, it's a brutal world. Just what helps me, and that's my advice to you, what helps me get through all of it, because when somebody coaches you so much, you stop questioning yourself. I question myself like, hey, I'm going to talk to my DNA genealogist and tribe. You should run that then because people have me question myself. To be real, but I know who I am, where I'm from. And I see a lot of that coming out into the things that people are putting out, whether it's even social media, like the native of social media and how we are trying to interact and move in this crazy world right now. I see it come together, and I see a lot of strength in staying true to the roots and sharing our information, not comparing. There's the difference. We want to share, so much now, because there are some things that are protected and that we do have for a reason. There is protocol again for a reason. We do hold things and hold teachings close to our heart. But when you're in a setting and you're sharing, not comparing, and whose hair straighter, whose cheekbones are higher, who's whatever. I don't even know whose status is this, whatever. When you're sharing, not comparing, I feel like that's what I want to see more.
Absolutely. I mean, you've really been dropping some gems. And so I want to know, what are some of the best pieces of advice that you've gotten?
Don't take everything too serious.
Yeah.
I've gotten that. I actually learned that when I was on set, because I was balling nerves being on set for True Detective and working with somebody. Think of something that you guys like, whether it's music, right? Whatever you guys like. I know you probably have something you look up to, or you see the thing that you want to be really, really good at. That was my situation. I've known Joey Foster since a kid. We watched movies in my house, and everybody knows the Silence of the Lambs and all that stuff. But if somebody is a master of their craft and who's been in the game for so long, I was balling nerves. And I'm thinking, me again, being an athlete, being a boxer, I'm like, I gotta be perfect. And do everything has to be perfect. It's feasibility sometimes, but I want to get everything right, get everything perfect, and I had a lot of pressure on my shoulders. For me, my third job, this big entity of HBO. But Jodie Foster is one of the coolest animals on the earth, and she was just kind of like this whole, like, it's gonna work out kind of thing. She would get up there, forget her lines, bust up the sides on her out of her pocket, and she would just like, everything's gonna be good. Don't take everything so serious. And I wasn't like, oh my god, I have to do this, but I was nervous. And we kind of learned a lot off each other. But that was, don't take everything so serious all the time. Laughter is medicine, and I love to laugh. And that she kind of reminded me of something that was instilled in me, in my family household. All we do is, so that was the best piece of advice.
That's great. I think that we have some time to take some questions from the audience. And we have one right here in the front. So, let's give you a mic.
And you can use mine.
Thank you. So I feel like a lot of people in your lifetime ask this question, but how did you find your purpose throughout all of this?
That's an excellent question. That is an excellent, I love good questions. So what's your name? Barbie. Nice to meet you, Barbie. Barbie. Okay, Barbie. Girls, Barbie. So the question was, how did I find my purpose? I'm still looking, girl. I'm still looking. We are all work in progress, but I'll give you an example of how I kind of found my way of fighting for the people. My warrior sister from Seaconke Tribe, Shanae, Shanae Bola, she's a wonderful person. She's helped me out early in my career, helping with my PR publications, just kind of getting things going in the public eye. And she's like, well, okay, what do you fight for? Girl, you know I fight, you're just money. Nah, I was just like, I fight for, that's my physical representation of, she's like, no, but really, what do you fight for? I'm like, I fight for us, I fight for people, I fight for, I I'm physically doing what we've done as Indigenous people for centuries, just trying to fight for us. And she's like, yeah, but like, she was trying to fight, like, I ain't fighting, like, I fight for not, I try to like fight for all nations, man. I fight for all nations, and that's kind of where Fight for All Nations came from. And it was like, I said that, it was more like conversation was happening, like, nah, but I really do, like, what I do in the ring, and it's a sport, it's kind of a running sport, but it's still sport, all right. But what it does for the response, I've gotten, as Jennifer mentioned, I worked at the residential council for teenage girls since 2009. I still talk to those girls now. And, I've also gotten throughout my journey countless amounts of DMs and emails from different parents, different kids. A couple in particular I've got suicide notes from kids and from parents. Also, like, some, it's heavy. But, my daughter and she lives in Canada, she's half Black, half First Nation, and she saw you fighting to be out. She saw a video of you. She wants to kill herself, she did, because she saw herself. So I get really emotional about that because that's how I found my purpose. It's when y'all can look at me doing all this, and yeah, sometimes we get to be on the red carpet, it's fun, it's not work, but when somebody can see themselves in me, that's how I found it. When I found my purpose. It wasn't anything that like I had to write down. Like, I'm here to be the dopest dressed person on the red carpet, or no, that's not my purpose. It's deeper than that. It's what can people talk about when I'm not here? How can I affect people? Is that in a negative way or is that in a positive way? That's really how I found my purpose. I'm like, I must be doing something. All these times at the gym, knees hurt, all these miles I'm running, all this, but it's giving somebody hope. I gotta do this. I don't care if my hands hurt. I don't care if I lose. That's how I found my purpose.
Any other questions? Okay, Julie.
Well, my question's easier.
Thank you.
My question's easier. My question's easier. In my family, in my house debate, we want to know what the ending of the movie is. So, that's my question. I see the ending of the movie as you didn't make it. You were an MMIW and you saw your sister. I have some very hopeful people in my family, and they see it that you actually saved her and she lived, and none of you died. So that's my question. How did that movie really end?
This is another good question. So the movie she's referring to, if y'all didn't see it, is Catch the Fair One. Sorry, this is going to be a spoiler, but so myself and Joseph, who was a director-writer, we had debates about this because he was getting nukes. You ever hear nukes in Hollywood? Like, it's like the dreaded thing. And they wanted her to survive. And I'm like, that's great, but it's not reality. And also, too, you can watch it, we're like, you're good, that didn't happen. After she fought all these people and she got shot and she did all these kung fu things, got the dude and what the guy, and there was a lot that she did. A, she would have been to jail. She would have been locked up. And B, it was kind of reality as to even her, this character. She was fierce, she was fighting, she was finding her sister, she was on it to even she could stop this. It's inevitable. There's more to this. We need more than just this one person. This one person is not going to be able to stop it. It was kind of like a little gem. This one person's not going to stop this. So, no, she didn't survive. But she was reunited with her sister, who they never found. She died. So when you do see the end of the movie, she's looking at her sister. All she wanted was to find her sister, make her mother proud, and be accepted by her community as a whole. And she got those things. She got to fight again. Her whole community was out there walking her out, and she found her that she got to see her sister. She got the approval from her mom. So no, she didn't survive. So tell your family members with a hopeful sacrifice. She go.
So, see a question over here?
Yeah. I was going to say, I think we have time for one more question.
Hey, Julie.
It's all good.
I know that you're always on the road. Uh, you're not home a lot, and so your whole family is here. There's so many people who care about you and love you and cherish you and are so proud of you. And so, although I don't have much of a voice, I do want to sing you an honor song. So make me cry. Wakan, 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 dan dawino, weno, way, paho de again, say no, weno, yawino, weno, way. We know, we know, we know, we know, yeah, we know, way. Wakan, wakan, dan now we know, way. Paho de again, say no, we know, yeah, we know, way. We know, we know, we know, we know. Yeah, we know, way. Wakan, 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 dan now we know, way. How they again say no, we know, we know. Yeah, we know, way. We know, we know, we know, we not. Yeah, we know, way. We love you.
Thank you so much for that. That's beautiful. We have a question over.
Don't make me
Oh, come on.
This is not a question, but you spoke in spirit just now. And those words were very, very heavy, and they fell on mine. I'm an elder, but it's so refreshing for my younger generation to feel me and teach me. Because I am not beyond learning, because I am an elder. So the words that you've spoken are really, really deep and heavy. And I'm going to take those words, and they're not empty. They're not just pretty words. They were words that came from your spirit that meant so much and were meant to carry a weight and be conveyed to those who could understand, relate, and do something about it. And I felt that it was directed to me. And in any way, I am not perfect, but I do and always want to be better for you, for all the generations to follow. So I will do better. And I love you so much. And I'm so proud of you. And we are forever praying over you in your journey. Know that you have more than just family to come home. You have love filled with nothing but more love. I hope.
Listen, everybody, let's just give it up for Kaylee one more time. So much for your words, for your presence, for your energy, for your representation. Everywhere you go, I'm very like I went to because you're there. And we're just so grateful to have you today and always. So, that's something we can do. Like I said, we love you.
Thank you so much. It's been good for me. Like, So I really appreciate you coming back home and doing this. Thank you for having me. Maybe I'll come back. Okay.
Give it up one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Kaylee, not to put you on the spot, but I'm sure people want a little photo time with you. All right, so while Kaylee gets down and settled, and we'll organize little lines, we want to take some pictures with her. And in the meantime, Cove, I don't know if you have any instructions or anything you wanted to do?